I spent a great deal of time researching if paying off your mortgage was a smarter idea than investing, or if investing was a smarter idea than paying off your mortgage. It's an age-old debate, and I've done a video on my channel about that, but that was looking at hypothetical things. So I thought to myself, why don't we come back here and do an investment video based on actual data, actual facts, and actual years. And yes, I am going to cherry pick the day and the year that we're going to do this because I want to make a very critical point. There's a ton of considerations, and we could sit here and debate this all day long, but buckle up and get ready because this video is going to be spicy. So we're going to use the year 1994. I know that's a long time ago, but what I want to look at is what happens if you do this and end on a bad year. So we don't know what the future brings. We don't know what 2028, 29, 30 looks like. We don't know. We don't know what 30 years from now looks like. What if you pay off your mortgage? What if you invest and all the stupid economic problems happen and you're stuck with absolutely nothing? So you just don't know. We got to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So when it comes down to investing versus paying off your mortgage, we're going to have two different people. We're going to have person that invests and person that pays off their mortgage. And we're going to trail this. I'm going to give you actual data, actual numbers. So the year is January 1994. You're going to buy a home for $150,000. That's a pretty good home for back in 1994. Your mortgage rate is going to be right around 8%. Now, you're going to immediately say, that is so dumb, because right now, mortgage rates are not 8% anymore. In fact, some of you are sitting with a 2% mortgage. Well, you can always refinance, so why don't we take an average? Let's say in 1994, you have an 8% mortgage, and then you take advantage of refinancing later to a 3%. So what we're going to need to do is average those numbers out, because you started with an 8% and you ended with a 3%, so we'll say that your mortgage rate over time is 5.5%. Right up here, I have a mortgage amortization schedule. It does all the fancy little calculations, but I want to point out very, very important. This only looks at your principal and your interest. It does not factor in tax and insurance. Because why? Well, tax and insurance is something that you have to pay whether you have a mortgage or not. So mortgage person is going to decide to pay $350 extra per month on their mortgage. That means their 30-year mortgage, they get to pay it off in 15 years. But guess what that means? From January 1994, they pay off their mortgage right on, June 1st, 2009. For some of you that are a little bit older, you're going to remember June 1st, 2009, right in the middle of the Great Recession. It really was not a good time. But the cool thing is this person's now mortgage free. They don't have to worry about that monthly payment anymore. They get to have one less thing to worry about. But then the other person, they decide to invest $350. They're going to have the same mortgage over 30 years, which means from 1994 to 2023, they're going to just pay their basic monthly payments. They're not paying anything more for those 30 years. So what they're going to do is $350 a month into the S&P 500. Now, before we get into the data, there's something really, really important to know. We are only talking about apples to apples here related to mortgage and investing. Before you do anything, before you pay off your mortgage or invest, always have an emergency fund first. Get yourself some liquidity, save up some cash in an account that can cover some major issues in your life, whether the stupid roof starts leaking or your stupid car starts breaking or all the dumb things that can screw you over, or you get laid off. You need to have some cash readily available before you start throwing your money into paying off debt or throwing your money into investments, because the risk of both of those could leave you like totally screwed, and then you're running to a very bad position to get yourself refinanced, right? Not a good idea. Just get yourself an emergency fund. So mortgage person pays $350 a month. They originally had to pay $156,606 in mortgage interest, but now they only have to pay $73,000 because they've been paying all those extra payments from 1994 until 2009, saving themselves $83,000. That is awesome. But here we are, you were able to pay off your mortgage and you're now mortgage free. But this other person, what we're going to do is we're going to look at portfolio visualizer. So we're going to go back here to 1994, in January of 94, all the way until June of 2009. And you're going to start with $350 and you're going to contribute $350 a month. So this is our investing person, and they're going to invest it into the S&P 500, indicated by ticker symbol SPY. I'm going to analyze the portfolio, and here's what we got. This person now has $89,000. So mortgage person, no mortgage at all. Invested person, $89,000. $364. So mortgage person has nothing to show for it, but invested person does. Here's the issue. The big issue is this. After the first 15 years, mortgage person has zero invested but a $0 mortgage and saving $83,000 in interest. Investing guy has that $89,364 invested with a remaining balance of $102,347.65 on their mortgage, saving $0 in interest. So the challenge here is a lot of people have often said to me, why don't you just invest instead and then you can pay off your mortgage if you need to? But here's a case of two people, and let's say they both get laid off because it's 2009 and layoffs are rampant. And if this repeats itself in the future, this is why having a mortgage is risky, in my personal humble opinion, and why I personally paid mine off. Because if you get laid off, not having that monthly expense could be a significant win, especially if you have an emergency fund. We still have that, right? It could be a significant just relief compared to this person because you still have, like, even if you withdraw all $89,000, you still have a $102,000 mortgage. You still have extra money on the mortgage, which means even if you throw all that at the mortgage, you still have monthly mortgage payments and you have no income because you're laid off. Let's hope unemployment will work out, but if it doesn't, you're just in a bad position. You're stressed out. I want to sleep as well as I possibly can, and I don't want to feel like crap. That's the scary part about taking the route of only investing. Because look here, you're not going to feel really good about when your account is up here at 114,000. This is in February of 2008, okay? This is before the Great Recession starts getting stupid, right? So you're actually feeling good at 114,000. You keep investing $350 a month, but then as things start getting bad, it drops down. And look at here at the low, it's actually at, in February of 2009, it's at 69,000. See, if you get laid off, you're not going to sit there and say, well, I'm going to cash out and just pay my mortgage off. No, you're going to be freaking out the fact that you went from 115,000 to 69,000. You're just going to be scared of that and not pull that money out. That's the danger. But let's just not end here because that would be silly. We also got to feel the fact that this investing guy is going to continue to pay his mortgage off and pay a full 30-year mortgage in 30 years, which means that would bring us to December 31st, 2023. So what happens during this period of time? That means that they continue to invest. They didn't get laid off, let's say. They have enough money to continue to invest $350 a month from 1994 until 2023 versus mortgage guy who then at the end of the 15 years, he now is mortgage free, he decides he wants to start getting aggressive with investing. Now remember, investing guy has $89,000 already invested. Mortgage guy has $0, but they're going to now say, I want to start investing. It's now the year 2009, I'm going to start getting into it. So they start investing, but they're going to now invest their entire mortgage payment. Let's look back at that for a second. We take the total payment, which means the scheduled payment with the extra payment. You were paying a total of $1,201 in principal and interest only. So now you have that extra money freed up. And you're going to now put $1,201 a month into the stock market from 2009 until 2023. So now both people will have their mortgages paid off. Who has more money? This is where things get interesting. So 15 years later, it's now 2023. Investing guy, he kept on with his $350 a month. Mortgage guy starts investing $1,201 a month. From June 2009 until December 2023, investing guy now has $324,111 with a paid off home. Now, at this point, this feels good. We weathered the storm of 2009. The recession's behind us. And now this person's feeling good because they have $300,000 saved up and a paid off home. Mortgage guy now has only $257,664 because, that $1,200 didn't catch up to the person investing $350 a month. Now, right here, you might be like, wait a second, you just put your foot in your mouth because this whole video I thought was about paying off your mortgage early, and now you're just literally displaying the fact that it makes more sense to invest $350 a month. That person has more money and a paid off home after 30 years comparatively to the person who went aggressive on investing after they paid their mortgage off. Yes, but let's also remember where all the money is. There is a difference where the mortgage person has saved on their mortgage interest. See, if you pay your monthly payments, like my boy did that invest, well, he has to pay the full mortgage amount, the full mortgage interest amount. Whereas the person who paid $350 extra a month from 94 to 2023, well, they get mortgage interest savings because they're paying more on their principal payment. So they saved an additional $83,526.87, which means their financial benefit impact would be $341,090.87. That's a difference comparatively to investing guy over time. Nominally, mortgage person reduced their risk after year 15. So if they did get laid off, mortgage guy has less risk. And because he saved money on interest, he technically has more of a financial impact than the investing guy. See, it's all about your plan, your risk assessment, and your strategy. And that's why I decided to pay off my mortgage early. Now, this also then focuses us on how do we retire, whether we retire early or right at the ripe old age of 65. Here's a really cool thing from Choose FI. They did a little bit of some calculations. And when you retire, it's all about your expenses, right? Because you're retiring, you're living off your portfolio, and your monthly expenses is what you need to cover with your investment portfolio. But they figured out with some basic calculations using the 4% rule on using 4% of your retirement income to live, for every $100 that you cut out of your monthly expense, you would then need $30,000 less in your investment portfolio to maintain the same standard of living. So if you're somebody that's going to just carry your mortgage right up into retirement, you're going to need a bigger investment portfolio just to maintain that mortgage payment. And it's more than $100 a month, I assume. If it's thousands of dollars a month, you got to think for every $100, you got to add $30,000 more that you need to save up in your investment account just to afford your mortgage. That's critical. One last thing that I got a lot of comments on in my last video is the very good point that investing, if you don't invest in a tax-advantaged account and you do decide to sell, like let's say they decided to sell and pay off their mortgage as much as they can back when they had that $89,000, well, guess what else? If it's not in a retirement tax advantage account, which in this case it wouldn't be because you need to cash it out to pay off your mortgage, you're going to get hit with capital gains tax. Now, it might be long-term capital gains, but you're still getting hit with tax on top of that. So you're actually not getting your full $89,000. You might be getting a little bit less than that, which means that you're still owing a lot more on that mortgage that we looked at earlier. And then the other even better point, why not just do halvesies? Maybe put like $100 a month extra toward your mortgage and maybe $150 into investments. That way you can let them both ride. Start paying your mortgage down aggressively, but still invest at the same time. That is a great idea. That is something to consider. And if you want me to do some calculations on how that would work, if you decide to do the halvesies approach, comment down below and let me know. If there's enough interest, I'll come back with another video. Now, if you want to check out the original video that I did, you got to check it out right up here. If you want to look at how this works with a 2% mortgage or a 3% mortgage, check out that video. But until next time, we'll see you on the next video.